Last Resort, one of the best teams in Splatoon's history. Famous for running Double Splatana and the champions in many tournaments, this is the story of one of Splatoon's greatest teams. To begin, we must start before Last Resort even formed and look at the histories of the four founding members: Chara, Kiwi, Mecha, and Storm Hero. Before Last Resort, Kiwi was on a team called Sub-Zero, but he left and Kiwi spent most of his time subbing and being a free agent, and was a prominent sub for Hollow. He also played Splatoon 1, but only casually. However, Chara was a competitive Splatoon 1 veteran, playing on Glob Quad, which would later be named Evolution. He competed in the sparse, but important Splatoon 1 tournaments, meaning the Range Blaster. Going into Splatoon 2, he was on many teams, including Prophecy and Neptune during this time, and played with Mecha on Climb. Mecha was also a Splatoon 1 veteran, playing on Glob Quad with Chara, and main shooters and squelchers in Splatoon 2. He was on many teams including BET, Surge, and Climb, but eventually settled on Stampede. Unlike Mecha, Storm Hero played Splatoon 1 casually. Before Last Resort, Storm Hero played on Instant Ramen, and later Hollow with Isabel, J-Char, and MED. Chara and Mecha were already both in a project together, and Kiwi and Storm, both great players in their own right, wanted to team up. All parties agreed, and on July 10th, 2022, Stampede, the precursor to Last Resort, was formed.
This is the first one.
Yes, first checkpoint is gone. Yep, and look at this Stampede. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But that is the question.
Wait, they just blasted through the checkpoint!
That's a wipe again.
Squid Junction 26 on July 23rd, 2022. This would be a fantastic start to their team, going to the Grand Finals and beating their opponents, Snobby Shores, 3-0. It would also show the beginnings of their playstyle, playing more aggressively, making sure to always press their advantage, and always making a fighting retreat, but they're still figuring that out at this point. Furthermore, it seems as if Stampede always had some sort of special ready or going, no matter the circumstances, and this fact would save them at the end of Game 1, ensuring their continued hold down to 0 as Snobby Shores launched a massive assault at the end. They also uniquely played Bamboo at this time, which was relatively uncommon. This first place victory was a major boon for the team, and the momentum they gained would continue on to their next major tournament, Triton Cup 35, where they placed second. Then came Lobster Crossfire. This tournament would continue to show the best from the team, with some incredible last-minute plays leading to a total victory, and part of this was due to the high team coordination, with members having a far higher knowledge of the game state due to great callouts by all team members. It's as if they were tournament commentators themselves and they were playing the game, and their gameplay in this tournament is truly fascinating. However, from this point onwards, progress began to slow. 4v4 Sundays 58 would see Stampede lose 2-3 to a Japanese pickup and 0-2 to Jackpot. The luck of the team had turned, and furthermore, Splatoon 2's life cycle was coming to an end, and everyone was preparing for Splatoon 3. In this chaotic period, a new question lingered. Could Stampede recover and return as one of the strongest teams, or would they slowly decline and dissolve? Time would only tell. September 19th, 2022, 10 days after the release of Splatoon 3. Though they technically formed on August 5th, this tweet was released, showing the world that Stampede wasn't just coming back, Last Resort was coming back with a fury. This time, they'd have some help from a Splatoon player that goes by the name of Arashi. In the beginning of Last Resort, things were fairly unstable and the team was generally not satisfied with their results, but this could just be due to the fact that Splatoon 3 had just released. Their first tournament together was 20XX, the first major Splatoon tournament aside from Big House. This tournament saw Last Resort paired against Starburst, and they would go down 0-2 in the winners bracket, being knocked out of the tournament, placing 17th. Starburst would clearly be some very tough competition. Last Resort actually performed really well in this tournament, making a variety of good plays, but ultimately, Starburst is just the better team and is considered by many to be the #1 North American team, and for good reason. This loss contributed to the notion that Last Resort was beginning to flounder. In November, Kiwi found himself too busy to continue playing on Last Resort, and he officially stepped down, being replaced with Havoc. The first major tournament after the change in roster would come at the very beginning of 2023 in 4v4 Sundays. They would once again compete well, but still got 7th and even temporarily changed their names to Mid-Resort. Ouch. Things were not going well for them, but with everything that had happened over the past few months, it's easy to lose focus on what was happening. Rapidly changing team comps and rosters led to Last Resort beginning to falter, but things from here on out were only going to get more stable. SwimmerSync 94 would finally see a Last Resort victory with good gameplay throughout. Their new roster is working out well, and furthermore, they would get 4th place in the Splatoon 3 NA Open. Things were finally looking up. Then, 20XX rolled around again. This time, instead of placing 17th, they placed 7th. A massive step up from their previous results, and a great sign of things to come. However, things still weren't perfect. They still gave up points, and many games ended far earlier than they should have. Something more was needed to truly bring them back to the top. Then it finally came in late February. Slacker T21 was added as a coach for the team, boosting team morale and finding great comps that Last Resort can make work with their incredible skill, helping bring the team back to getting wins. The new members of the team, Arashi and Slacker T21, were incredible members that both had amazing backgrounds. Arashi had previously played on Prophecy with Chara and had an amazing frontline aggressive playstyle that synergized amazingly with the other members of Last Resort. Slacker T21 had came into Splatoon 3 on a break, but eventually formed a team with Lux, Toast, and Nababin. They got 5th in a previous NA Open, but slowly drifted apart, which is when Storm asked Slacker to help coach Last Resort. Ultimately, February 26th would come around, and Last Resort would get 5th in IDYLL2. April 8th came 5th at Ink TV Resurgence League. Results were coming, and coming fast. Unfortunately, Havoc then also quit due to real-life events. But now would be a good time to look at their modern playstyle. To begin, Arashi most often plays a Viper, and flags around whatever side routes are available on a map, and often will camp and spawn to create enough of a distraction for the rest of them to move in, like a Tetra would. Then Chara, often on Stamper, goes in for kills, while Storm Hero and Mecha play either support, pinked behind them and securing points, or also play frontline to form incredibly aggressive comps that often totally lack an anchor. They have seen great success with this playstyle, and its power would be shown in the Splatoon 3 NA qualifiers. Throughout May and June, the Splatoon 3 NA qualifiers were taking place. They got 3rd in the NA Open qualifiers, losing to the 2 best teams, Starburst and Jackpot. This is actually an incredible performance though, and one which cannot go understated. This tournament came just a week after a patch, and Last Resort was one of the first teams to embrace cooler strats. In the second NA qualifiers, they had another fantastic run, placing 5th after a variety of great sets. Then came July 22nd, Squid Junction 48. Another beautiful run from Last Resort. They managed to win Squid Junction 48 without dropping a single game. A truly awe-inspiring feat that cannot go understated. Slowly but surely, Mid-Resort has been clawing back, inch by inch, tournament by tournament, to their peak in Splatoon 2, and they have finally recovered what once was. Fabulous gameplay, incredible sets, and amazing plays were made by all members of the team. This is their most recent tournament, and what a standing it is. From a shaky start to a fantastic win, Last Resort has made major progress, and certainly deserves to be called one of the best teams in Splatoon. And for their skills, the players have gained notoriety, with Arashi going onto the Times Square billboard and Chara running one of the largest English-speaking Splatoon channels. Storm has managed to become vastly more flexible in his gameplay, has been able to adapt to every meta, and has gained a Twitter following of almost 2,000 people, and Mecha has been instrumental in paint control and keeping Last Resort consistent, as well as gaining a following of around 1.5 thousand people on Twitter. Slacker found a new way to help the Splatoon community, and continues to do so by offering me his perspective on former metas. Last Resort has transformed its players and the community at large after a dominating performance at Squid Junction 38. Will the team be able to show the same dominance as before in the next major and win it all? Only time will tell.